start. Wait, Lisa.
Yes.
Okay. We left off last week with
Yep.
kind of the aha moment of keeping your binge in the back pocket.
Yes.
You know, kind of like, you know, if you know you want to keep this behavior just in case that thing that you know is going to test you happens.
Yep.
You're probably going to just sabotage for no reason at all.
Right.
Just to make sure that you don't commit. And part of it is too is like, well, if you lose all that weight, you're gonna gain it back, and you don't want to have to commit to being healthy when you know you're gonna have to immediately throw yourself under the bus for the other stuff you want to be able to do.
Right.
So it's a matter of like, well, this one I'd rather keep because I'm more vulnerable.
Right.
Then I feel secure.
Yes.
Anywho, how'd this week go?
This week went pretty good. It was I did a lot of like thinking on that whole, you know, keeping the sabotage, the binge thing in my back pocket, and I didn't have any kind of moment where it's like, oh, I know, like I'm, you know, oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, I've mastered this. But were you tested at all? I mean, did you have any moments where you recognized you were doing it? Did you catch yourself in the moment?
Oh, yeah. Like, every freaking day that happens. It's just like, oh, yeah, I'm bored. Okay, that's why I'm doing that. Okay, knock it off. You know, like, mad at my husband. Yeah, okay. You know. All of it, you know, and it all just shows up. Like, the second I'm trying to figure something out, it all just shows up. And I'm like, okay, this is so annoying. But, like, I was just much, I don't know, calmer with it. It wasn't quite so, like,
didn't have to fight for it.
No, it was like, oh, okay, that's what I'm doing. Knock it off, or put it down, or get out of the kitchen, or whatever it was.
So you're catching yourself a lot, but you're not following through with the whole thing.
With the whole thing, exactly. Now, did I eat stuff? I did. I know I did. But really, like the whole week, I was like going, yeah, I had one day that I think I was kind of eating like the whole day. That's what it felt like. I don't think I was. But it just seemed like I just constantly I was like going, why am I always eating?
Did you have any guilt? Did you ever have guilt?
That day I did.
Okay, I was going to say.
But on the other days, not one freaking bit.
So the question I have is, on that one day.
Yeah.
Were you hungrier?
Yeah, it seemed like that was the whole deal. I was like going, okay, I feel like I'm like starving all of a sudden. Which I was like, okay, well, that just seems weird. I just had something like a couple hours ago.
It's called hormones, honey.
Because it was just, I was like, this is not right. This is not. But I ate because I'm like going, yeah, but I am hungry. Like, okay, I am hungry.
That's like PMS. So
okay.
It's like right before most women who are still menstrual. You know, it's like right before your period, you're hungrier. And we often, as women, emotionalize that as something that's wrong with us.
Yes, and that's what I was like, there's something wrong.
It's not. There's nothing wrong.
I shouldn't be eating all of this.
You're having hormonal flux.
Because that's exactly what I'm like going, no, this is wrong. I'm not, this is not right. And I'm like, am I hungry? Am I hungry? I'm like, yes, I'm hungry. Mm-hmm. I'm actually hungry.
Well, and then what the guilt comes from this idea that you're getting, it's the idea that eating less is a quantity that should happen. You have this idea of quantity in your head, and if it's more than that quantity, which was good, which usually is appropriate. Well, if it's more, you tend to think, well, I'm going to gain fat. Well, if you're listening to hunger, you will note that there are times during your cycle where you are definitely hungry.
Yes.
And it is requiring sometimes twice as much food one day than it has the other.
And it was literally one day. One day. And I was like...
You menopausal?
Not, my doctor says no.
Okay.
So... I believe him right at the moment.
And he could be right, but he could, whatever. Like, men know what it's like.
Yeah. He just says no. So I was like, okay, that's fine.
Because if you haven't started your period, or didn't start your period, I just think a lot of times the other thing that can influence hunger like that is sleep. So if you didn't have sleep the night before, that's the other thing. There's a lot of different reasons why we have more hunger some days than others.
Okay.
So
yeah, my sleep is usually pretty even keeled. Usually, I don't. It's not often that I get out of whack with my sleeping. So. Yeah, but it was probably just the hormones because...
Well, the other thing, too, is food of choice. Did you eat more sugar starch that day?
Yes.
Okay, that may have done it, too.
That I do. I was like, going, okay.
Because they remove hunger quickly, and then you get hunger quicker.
Oh.
Does that make sense? So
yes.
you eat just a little bit. So you end up just eating a little bit.
You said that before, too. I remember you saying that, yes. And I bet. I didn't eat a lot of sugar starch. It
doesn't take much.
Okay.
The more fat you have, the less it takes. So it can be like the jelly beans. It's like 2 or 3. Immediately you feel better, but within a very short period, you're hungry again. It's because your hormones are, if you didn't binge, that is.
Right, and which I didn't.
Good for you, Lisa.
There was no like just shoving food down my throat just to shove it down my throat.
It's not all or nothing bullcrap anymore. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you.
Which I was like going, okay, well this is interesting that I didn't feel the need to do that.
Yeah, there was, that's so great. There was no need to do it. Okay, so, you're just learning your body.
Yeah, right. And it's truly an interesting little journey to like go, oh, okay, well, this is interesting. I'm not hungry. I am hungry. Not hungry. I am hungry. It's like it's very strange to be aware of that on a continuous basis.
Well, the other thing it is, and that it's not a diet, which means you don't just shut it off. You don't just turn this part.
Correct. Like I was like going, okay, this is just how it is. Like you just, I'm hungry. Okay. So it's like, okay, one morning I get up and like by 9 o'clock I was like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. So, I had eggs and I didn't eat them all because I didn't need to, and I was like, well, I should, and the thought went through, well, I need to finish that plate of food.
And you caught yourself?
And I was like, I do not.
No, didn't you hear what Robin said?
It's like, I don't have to do it. And so I just took them in the kitchen, I put them down in the garbage disposal, and I didn't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
Like, that would be the deal. I'd feel bad that I wasted food. I would feel bad.
Yeah. And so you put them in the trash.
Yeah, I threw them down the garbage disposal, and
Did you have a moment of panic?
No.
Not even like a moment of,
No, not at all. I was like going, once I got it, it's like, well, wait a minute, I don't actually have to finish my plate.
Okay. Duh. Oh my God, Lisa. Freaking awesome.
And then went and put it, I was like going, oh yeah, I get to throw these out. I did, however, sit with them. I was sitting there like...
Had a little panic. Had a moment.
Yeah, it was a moment. I didn't feel panic, but I felt like, really? Yeah. And then,
okay.
I thought, and I gave the dog a couple eggs because I had, there was stuff left over. Here you go, sweetheart.
Yeah,
I love you.
I want to kind of go, isn't that true? Poor dogs, intestinal issues with people food, but dogs just love it. I know. I want to go back to the day you had like the hunger, because I want to pick apart like, was it a day you were busier, or where there was stuff on the kitchen counter and you're walking around and you take a little bit of nibble and you keep on doing and you're eating more? I want to get into that mindset because I think a lot of people do that, especially when they're at home, they're not working.
Yes.
Where it's constantly eating, and some people just think, well, it's just a bite, that doesn't count. It's just a little bit, it doesn't count, but ultimately the hormonal response counts every time, and the body revs up. So the first bite kind of spiked your hormones. The second bite kind of spiked your hormones. The third one spiked your hormones, and it gets bigger and wells up, and eventually you feel hormonally gross.
Yeah, because after probably, well, it was at night mostly. See, during the day, no matter what, I'm pretty good.
You just don't have hunger and you don't have issues.
Yeah, it's gotten to where sometimes I'm hungry around 10:30. Sometimes I can.
More at night.
At night is the worst.
Okay.
So that, it's like after I get home from work, after I get, I go from work and I go work out and then, whatever, and I get home and then it's like, okay, and I've realized too, I still have a habit of eating right when I get home. And it doesn't matter what time it is. Mm-hmm. And I can go, yeah, I'm hungry.
That's your cigarette.
Yeah, it's like.
I know I keep on coming back to that, but I always wonder how much of these habits were created in lieu of the cigarette.
Yeah, and sometimes I'm like going, am I hungry? And I've like went, well, no, I'm not really hungry right now, so then I go do something else.
I want you to start with a glass of water.
Well, that's never a problem. I drink a ton of water.
Okay. So here's the other thing. The itty bitty little snacky, like, honestly, it's not that healthy. We want to make sure you actually wait for the 3.5. Right. Where, I am hungry.
I'm hungry and I need to eat right now.
And I need to sit down and eat.
Well, that was the other thing. Like, Denise and I were talking, and I said, I realized last night, it was actually just last night, I made this hamburger. Because, actually, my son made this hamburger. I just cooked it up because he had made all these. And I was like, well, I can have this hamburger. So I had a hamburger and some broccoli. And I was sitting there with all of that. And I was like, well, this is just so much better. Like, having this meal. Mm-hmm. And how much more satisfying it was. Mm-hmm. Instead of, like, before I'd take an apple and have some apple and a piece of cheese. Or the celery and some peanut butter. Mm-hmm. And then I'd be good for a couple hours, maybe. And that's what I did that day.
You were just snacking.
I had apple and some cheese, and I had peanut butter and celery, and then I had, then I probably, I know I had like candy somewhere along the line, mm-hmm. and then I was like, oh well, now I'm kind of hungry, not like get a meal, like sit down and eat, mm-hmm. but kind of, well, let's like have something, so that was kind of the deal on that whole day. That's how that whole day went, just like snacks.
Yeah, and you're right. I'm so glad you had that experience last night, because you should sit and experience your food.
Yeah, it was so much better.
Well, and you felt, I'm sure you got to a point where you were hungry and satisfied. Yep. And there was no question in between.
Nope. It was just like, wow.
And when I say 5.5, I say that's knowing you don't have hunger anymore and you're confident it's not coming back. Right. That doesn't mean you're anywhere close to being full or anywhere satiated. Right. You're just confident that, you know what, I probably won't need to eat for a few hours.
Well, and last night when I did that, I didn't eat the rest of the night. There was no eating the rest of the night. And I was like, well, that's interesting. Huh.
I think you just need to be a little bit more, maybe more planned meals for yourself. Yes. Just
because I am really bad at it.
Well, you don't necessarily cook, right?
No, I'm not. I don't cook stuff. I mean, on a weekend, I might do a roast in the crock pot. Yeah. That's about the extent of my, Not that I can't cook.
It's not your favorite thing to do.
No, I don't do it. So, yeah.
Now, I'm happy this is great. Yeah. Oh my God. So you really need to keep on going with that, because if you emotionally felt better and you physically felt better.
And all this week, I felt like it was, like no day did I, even after that day I ate, and I was like, the next day I kind of felt like
lethargic?
Yeah, a little bit.
Kind of like that feeling came back of the adrenal fatigue. Yeah, it's like going, I'm so glad you had that.
What was that? Ick. Don't do that again. Okay.
Good.
But most days then I was, like, I actually felt good. I didn't feel like, and I never felt like, oh my God, I ate that. I bet I gained like 2 pounds.
Oh, who gives a shit how much you weigh?
But that's like so
great.
Yeah, that's like always, that was always in my head. Oh,
how much do I weigh?
I should see how much I weigh, because I bet after doing that I gained a bunch of weight. And I just never felt that way this week.
Well, part of the reason I would say is that hasn't been our motive.
Right.
We rarely talk about it.
But
you know?
It was still in the back of my head this whole time. Like I was it felt like I was maneuvering around it. Even though that wasn't the goal, it wasn't the main reason. And I was like going, well, that's weird. How all of a sudden I was like, oh, well, I don't. Like that was kind of a relief.
Okay, good. Well, you need to keep that because you should not even be. We're not doing this for weight loss,
no.
Lisa. We're not.
Yeah, I know, and I know in my head I got that from before, but still it was like.
That's the diet That's the diet kind of disorder.
How am I ever going to get over that? Because I felt like I had to get over that. I was like going, how am I ever going to get over that?
Well, it's kind of like if you're not going to be on a diet, then you might as well do everything you want and more. And we're not doing that anymore.
No.
So now it's like, well, now we're trying to put you just somewhere in the middle, and you're still like, well, then what happened to the weight idea?
Yeah.
What happened? Why? It's like, well, let's put you in the middle, because being on the polar extremes of, dieting for weight loss,
right,
to I'm entitled to anything I want whenever I want,
right,
for whatever reason I justify it,
right.
That's a crazy train.
Yeah. It's so crazy.
I know. But the thing is, what you recognize is we're kind of putting you in the center with you're using your body as a guide, and what is the reward? Because the reward is feeling good.
Right.
You could tell there is a physical difference.
There's a completely physical difference. Completely.
Am I kind of am I saying what you're basically saying, which is you realize this as you would do this whether you lose weight or not because it feels better.
Right, it does feel better. And I know that in this process, I was going, okay, see, I did this. I ate all this stuff, before. And then the next day or for 2 days, I feel like crap. I mean, literally, I just physically feel like crap. It's like, I want to, go lay down.
Yeah, that's the adrenal fatigue.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh. And I was like, but I don't want to live my life like that. Or
have you gotten to a place where you're like, not eating my health?
Yeah, I don't know that I've quite gotten there yet, but I'm very close. Yeah, I can tell I'm close. That I can tell. It's like going, okay. Yeah.
Well, the sooner you get the whole idea of weight out, it's going to force the decision a little sooner.
Right.
Because a lot of times it's like, well, I need to lose this weight, and that's really why I'm doing this. Well, let's just take that out completely. Because honestly, Lisa, have you gone to a place where you love, whether you're this weight or 50 to 100 pounds less, if you could even just stay where you're at today and feel better, wouldn't that be...
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Just fantastic.
It would.
Well, let's aim for that.
Yeah.
Just aim for that first, which is the weight is just not an indication of health.
Right.
It is truly just, can you continue to eat based on hunger and do it solely because you feel so much better doing it.
And this week was really I was going, okay. I was like, I ate when I was hungry. I ate when I was hungry. I was like, okay, I'm hungry now. I'm going to eat. So it wasn't like I was just randomly eating stuff. I was just like, okay.
Okay, so this week was a different week. It was very different.
Yeah, it really was different.
And then last night was a very big aha moment.
Yeah. Well, and Saturday night, it was funny. We went out to dinner. Took my mom, and it was her birthday a couple weekends ago, so we took her out for dinner. And, I ordered differently. First off, I didn't drink. Now, could I have a drink? Sure, I could have. But I'm going, okay, if I have a drink, I'll have a headache. right there, I'm like going, yeah. I'd even gone out for lunch with my friend Vicky Saturday. Didn't have a drink then either. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I got to the point where I was like going, oh, I don't really care if I have a drink. Oh. Huh.
Then why do it? Yeah. It's kind of like, well, no.
And it's like, okay, well, have a drink with Vicky, have a drink at dinner, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, pick one. And I thought, okay, well, I will. But then I got to dinner and I'm like going, yeah, I'm not going to have a drink. I don't care.
Mm-hmm. And there'll be days you do want to drink.
Yeah.
But so on this one?
I just didn't. And I didn't care. And it didn't bother anybody and it didn't bother me.
And you didn't feel deprived. And you didn't feel punished.
No.
And you weren't on a diet.
No. And I wasn't on a diet. And I got this most magnificent steak.
Wow, I'm serious.
And then I ordered no potatoes with mine because it came with these au gratin potatoes. And I'm like, please don't put potatoes on my plate. Put asparagus on my plate and the snap peas. I said, I'll take that. And that was it. And I probably didn't even eat half the steak, and I ate almost all the snap peas because they were actually really good. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and I ate part of the asparagus, and I said, yeah, then I'll just take this home. Yeah. And it was like, and she's like, oh, okay, I'll box it up for you. And I'm like, great. And
did you get full?
Oh, I thought, oh my God, I feel like I'm stuffed. I wasn't really stuffed, but it felt like so much food.
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is so much food. Okay,
so it was way too much food. Then what you ate, did you get full?
Yeah, I got full.
Didn't it suck?
Well, I didn't get way too full. I really did. Yeah, I didn't.
So you were probably like at a 7?
And by the time we got, like, everybody came to our house and everything, and I was fine, like, the whole rest of the night. I wasn't, like, thinking, oh, we need to eat, you know, like, get stuff out because we should eat some more stuff.
Yeah.
No. And it was fine.
So so all in all, Lisa, would you say that from where you started before we started working to today, there's been a major shift?
Yes. A pretty big major shift. Yes.
If you were to describe it to someone else, what would you say?
It's a conscious way of being where it's a different conscious way of being than how I was being before. Like, I'm being different. Mm-hmm. And being.
But you're not a different person.
No, but you are but just. I'm being different with the food. Food is not controlling.
Would you say you're just not in the same? You're done playing that game.
Yeah, it's like okay, I get that's what that was. I get that I had food have some sort of power over me.
Or you had power over it.
Yeah, whichever day that ended up on. And then now it's like food doesn't have any power. It just has what it is, which is it'll either have nutrition for me, or if I eat something that
it's going to taste good.
Yeah, then it's like it is what it is. It's food. It's food so then I can be not hungry. That's all it is. Which, seriously, that was not how I walked into this at all. Because I really did think I had to control something. Mm-hmm. I'm not controlling anything.
So that is really don't you agree or not agree? Whatever it is, doesn't matter to me. But the fact that you've taken food and made it less valuable emotionally, you've literally said, I'm not going to use this emotionally anymore.
Right.
There's been a whole lot of personal responsibility put on you emotionally.
Right.
Because you can't just dump your shit onto food anymore. You literally cannot make it take over for you anymore.
Exactly. It doesn't make it responsible.
It's not your body's job or food's job to make you feel better about your life circumstance. So would you say that your view of life has changed?
Yes. Because
you're put in the responsibility.
Right.
It's been given to you.
Yes.
That to me is so powerful.
Yeah. And do I Do I think that my life will be perfect? No.
Yeah, there's no life.
Not one bit.
Not at all. Not at all.
No.
But the use of your body and food to hide you from things you're not comfortable with.
Right.
Can you see yourself regressing and going back to the way you were? Can you see yourself doing it again?
Right at this moment, I can say no. But...
Ooh, there's the back pocket.
Yeah.
There's your back pocket.
I still
there's something.
There is still something. And I was getting that this week. I was like, no, there's still something.
Yeah, it's true. Like something you're saving it for.
Yeah, something I haven't quite gotten to yet. And I don't see it yet.
I wonder if you're just, that sense is coming from just impending, you don't know what it is. Maybe there is that you know what, but it's the idea that whatever it is, I'm not capable.
Yeah.
So it's the I'm not capable that is causing this. It's not that there's...
It could very well be. Or the not knowing, like, okay.
But go through your mind. I mean, we talked about getting divorced.
Yep.
You kind of thought about it and went, no.
Yeah. If my son died.
Well, let's just ignore that one for now. But honestly, even when that, exactly.
No, because I probably wouldn't eat. I don't think I actually could eat.
Financial stress.
Yeah. It could.
Think about it. Because the financial stress, if let's say you just don't have as much buying power, that's what that comes down to is.
Yeah, no. My whole financial thing has even turned around in the last 4 months anyway. Like where not only am I not using food, I'm not using shopping either.
Oh, you have held